bibia akwa abashonko so e de aba POG Media so e be show bibia say afi eno abadwumadi kase we so a obe like obe share no subscribe to the channel and send your political trending news be a cool tree e call brema e bia na hanu POG Media so e na ebusuafo for yade penny say yade be brema and then you call political highway so na e nsem bebre ene aso akote nsem bebre ni say e ken Ofori Atta nipa bonesem ni nyamra sema wa yi sisi ano taxes no say na too much and or transfer taxes no or transfer taxes no so ekugu na account ma say na emfa ba bia taxes are you try to you try organ hiding na or no account mo and na ekugu asisi ano Calvin Taylor aba abonten aba expose na big time asisi ano IMF for taxes ni bibia ECG taxes momo taxes bibia taxes or she be say no or interrogation room NBI for any DSC. This time around there is no escaping for Ken Ofori Atta. Nasem I asked him for me to be around so be around some remittance and Mamma Konya Kuti Damas.
Which is 27% in September 2022, 29.96% in the last quarter of 2022, and 18.36% a few days ago. The opposition National Democratic Congress NDC since 2021 had advocated an IMF bailout.
This is a report on the year 2023. The day now Ofori Atta ekotena IMF for the first time. IMF for new year meeting and Akuffo Sembobeka chere Ghana for say because MPP for chain upon the bashing and pushing them to go to IMF earlier no. Because they have wasted and delayed time, no. Sa agreement omoko sign no. Utility bills every 3 months be abekosro. This is a prophecy. Not just a mere prophecy, a prophecy that was backed with facts from the NDC then, no more opposition. This is a news item. In fact, in 2022, no, electricity tariffs increment no equal high as 72%. That was when na NDC for catch the Ofori Atta Bawumia money MPP for say go to IMF quickly because why nyanisa mukodua increment na every 3 months be abeba. Into the moment they entered IMF no, the NDC came out quickly to say this is what is going to happen. Mumaya nyina yama no yetinda form. They are going to go into the agreement because of a car and it is going to affect our tariffs. Ye lights, yensio, senya yebetun ebonum every 3 months. Bosomi miensebia. Video about we na 2023. In fact, there's more evidence to prove say the NDC came to inherit this quarterly increment from the MPP. A agreement almost signing here with IMF. Now let me show you. When you go back into a timer, you see this. 2023 data show 19th of May 2023. Then I to force ikaye okokano asempa. Or say, Akuffo Bawumia government has agreed to increase utility tariffs every 3 months. Minority leader. Satam na end this no opposition. Atofos Bekano, the same asempa obituo. Catch Ghana for say, in Kofon IMF no bokono, Busumi biano, yeba beto kanium, Busumi miensebia beto kanium, na obituo. Na obituo, or my communal santetuo. They all listen to Akuffo. They listen to the crossroads. They listen to all the press conferences. Obi is aware. Asempa, most Ghanaian journalists, they are aware of these facts. They know. Inti Akuffo NDC for the Dinkan catch them will say it is in the agreement because in conformity no, there is no way that agreement any IMF all the way to 2037 no, we are going to pay electricity tariffs increment every 3 months till 2027. A MPP for deal. That is the only way they could get a deal with IMF because agreement IMF 3 billion no. Now all these platforms in Ghana, news outlets, they know the story. Now this is TV3 News. Utility tariffs to increase every 3 months as part of IMF deal. Akuffo date Ben show May 18th, 2023. May 18th, not end this no power. No. May 18th 2023 na party be na power na MPP na power ato force ne NDC for kachire mu say enkonfo na agreement na omokoye no ebe me yetua light bill be kosoro sa for the next 4 years ye betua every 3 months ye beto kanem because omo de eti ko share agreement ase Bawumia Akuffo Addo Ofori Atta omo de eti ko share IMF ase moma yenye careful na yen kan kire so omunjai. They did not listen. Now after TV3 omo ankasa cocaine eye class FM omo so record report this story no 3 billion IMF bailout. Utility tariffs will go up every quarter. Brace up for biting consequences. Minority. Date ben show 18th of May 2023. Na NDC no power, na MPP no power. The NDC were cautioning Ghanaians. Say, yeba be win power. Or somebody say IMF deal na Akuffo Addo Bawumia any Ofori Atta makoji ato no. Omo de eti akose agreement biasia every 3 months biano. Ye betua electricity bill ebe kosoro. Ede na ye hu ni nne no. Now, when you move forward, another news outlet, POG Media, Joy News, IMF deal, Ofori Atta nkasa sama obi na no kan date show 14th of April 2023. Again Ofori Atta kan Ofori Atta say electricity tariff hikes, tax reforms, key conditions in securing program. Tie PZ for muntie brofo no. Ofori Atta time na odie ko IMF no. Okoye meeting we de obeka che en say electricity tariffs ese kanea ye betutum any air tax ye de be pay Ghana for so no e ya de a ye ntumi mpa ho ansa na sign agreement no o si ansa na IMF bechi ye IMF agreement na tum no e kire ye gitum say ye beton kanea mu ye de taxes be pay mo so. That is what Ofori Atta no ye finance minister e ka kire Ghana for inta ye den and ended 2025. Eye obitumi sori betena TV so ka say President Akuffo ko IMF eye de Mahama ko IMF Akuffo Addo ko IMF adenti na ende yato kaniem amode hye eye MPP. This is the result. Ofori Atta kra ka kire mo say without the 3 months increment in tariffs the IMF were not going to give us the 3 billion. Or say without us admitting say ye did more taxes be pay Ghana for so no as NPP government no the IMF were not going to sign any deal with us. But if these guys had gone to the IMF early on, na NDC kachoma, and you could have avoided the electricity a quarterly increment of utility tariffs. But now let's go into the books and see say IMF ni Ghana for no. There are documents to prove say IMF any Ghana for etna see meeting no omoji to me say PURC for enfan shem say e was 3 months bia no ye to kanea mu ana. Is there document? Are there facts? Are there evidence to prove say and the kanya yatum 14% to say the Akuffo ye de no e NPP for the dia bedru ha mamomfa obia mbehye NDC aban mema obia mfa bibia mbehye eye NDC John Mahama aban eye MPP nkwasiafo we na NDC etu omofo say agreement na omudi obuti ko hyem no omon kontem na oman kontem a ye de light ne yensuo nyina beka ho. They ignored the NDC. In fact, they insulted the NDC. They were making fun of the NDC. They were laughing. They were telling us, say, NDC for Nimunyansa. This is where we are. So we need to deal with it. Now, let's go into the wagon. Now, Yanko shared the evidence that explicitly shows us, say, increment in this 3 months tariff here, increasing on NDC the buy and I say na eka MPP for agreement omone dey omone IMF sign here. Let's go into the documents. Now look at this. Already the 2024 first quarter Ghana Gas, Electricity and Water Tariff Decision, Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC for omo 2024 quarterly data and our report and na yebe kan efrim 2024 na John Mahama nye president 2024 na NPP and our power, so don't get it twisted. So we say our other fact change say ya Uncle Fambra where PURC for Omankasa report. A Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. Omo reporter 2024. Omo Troya. Details ni nyina wo. Let's not get this wrong. Because Omo Kachire say they needed e-levy. Omo Kachire say so Omo pass e-levy na some problems we nyina no esubetwa. That's what they told us. Murefi, mamu refi. Now let's go into the deal. Now, so read the document now. This is what you see in the 2024 PURC4 report, first quarter. Now, so go inside the reporter. Mami enlarge send you can follow. We don't want to hide anything. Now you see this document. Mami show table way. What table no? You see analysis 2.2. You will see 2.2.1 underpinning data. You will see findings, results from analysis and data. Now, you're starting free a year esrono, especially now baby table 1 summary of data used in analysis of 2024 first quarter electricity tariffs.
So for na me show bibia do bibia say hadum POG Media e be show bibia say like here be like share ma nua no na for busuya for bia sentiment kan dwumade ya DB subscribe to the channel no notification bell na on so send be political trending news bia e ko twi ko problem bia no POG Media so na age penny say o de bebre o for amoti ken over ya tahon sensem na ya na eguso a here ken yen jo bibia mbra mo so yen so bibia so mbra e be show me me yakọ.
Offer. This is what is in the report. So we'll check it. The summary of data used in analysis of 2024 first quarter electricity tariffs are Oba Asia one ubehun A1 no ubehun hydro and A2 no ubehun thermal. Now A1 no usha ukotop ubehun quarter 4 2023 parameters assumptions effective December 1st 2023. In the same report way, December 1st, 2023, almost first quarter, almost fourth quarter, 2023. No, that means the first the fourth quarter of 2023. No report no PURC for results in the NA. Now, Oko Asewa hydro. Now, 31.91, and we have fourth quarter 2023. That is the fourth quarter. Last 3 months of 2023. Now we are first 3 months of 2024. It won't say last 3 months of 2023. No, almost to electricity tariff, almost to hydro 31.91%. And almost 2024 first quarter, the first 3 months of 2024. No, and also no esa almost 34.81%. Now oba thermal. Uba will say fourth quarter 2023, the last 3 months of 2023, no. Uba will say almost at the time I call 68.89. And now over the first quarter of 2024, which is the first 3 months, January, February, March of 2024, no, a move called 65.19. In the increment, no, it was not any increment a year low, it has been there. They have been increasing electricity, they have been increasing fuel, they have been increasing hydro, thermal, exchange rate, no. Oh, check exchange rate now. As back as fourth quarter of 2023, that is the last quarter of 2023, last 3 months of 2023, no. Now, dollar near 11.92. Oba the last quarter of first quarter of 2024. January, February, March 2024. Now, dollar no 12.134. Time and now free power. The last quarter of 2024, no. Now, almost 15 and over. Now, I want you to understand Juma or my yato. Problems are the Ghana Akoma, and they are trying to make it look like say President Akuffo IMF, Mahama IMF, Akuffo IMF, Mahama na Akuffo problem whereby sa problem where problem NPP for ejato agreement omoko sign ya. They know said this agreement is going to cause a lot of problems. Okay, my mention the reason why it's na NPP or power not every single day omone PURC for issue in say. Every time we are PURC for episode of the raw data, the physical or the realistic numbers are also here when it comes to light bill and water bill. No, what the NPP were doing in the say, they were always telling PURC say they should cut the prices down, and that the government was going to later make sure say they come and pay that debt. Until they were always telling them say they were going to make sure they subsidize. Until they be an own time and MPP was no say PURC Ebertrom reporter. There's always a back and forth with the government because the government didn't want PURC to give you the raw picture. So they were always covering up the raw numbers. This is the first time you are seeing the raw numbers from PURC because the NDC is not interested in covering up the raw numbers. The raw numbers are not based on the chiramono. Na MPP for any omoku. De biano PURC for person omode utility tariffs. Omoshe na omo adjustia. Na de biano MPP for any omoku. It was because the finance minister and the government were always fighting PURC. You say they should not give Ghanaians the raw numbers, and that omontiso na abainaba betiyamo omo. And no na air pile ekano because we didn't have any fiscal space. We were locked up. The vacuum that was created was artificial. We did not have real space whereby na ekanim. They had piled the system to the point to say we were at the end of the day locked up in debt. But they created the impression for Ghanaians to think, say, oh, yeah, got to aba Akuffo until lighting. But in reality, PURC they were harboring debts. They were concealing a data government was trying to hide from you. Now, yanko a documenting. This is PURC. Omankasa documenta. Omankasa documenta. Say the NPP government. Omoni IMF tnase ejitu muse. This 3 months quarterly increment of electricity, water, any other utilities. It is in the report. In fact, the IMF agreement, it is in there. And PURC, at the end of the day, captured that. The IMF report, it has also captured that. Now, let me show you the details, the facts in the report. Now, when you look at the report itself, this is what you see. Sorry. So, we share a document where Mami enlarge na me no one kinkain. This is a document. The IMF document, any. The PURC, they have this document. This same document, the IMF also, they have it. Now let's read this document. IMF Monetary Fund, page 16, Ghana. This is the IMF document. Now you read the IMF one kata chro agreement. Now, GDP offsetting underlying upward pressures from a more depreciated exchange rate. Additional quarterly tariff adjustments will be implemented in 2023 to compensate for any exchange rate and price movement and to bring tariffs close to cost recovery level, while efforts to improve operational efficiency of energy distribution as planned in the ESRP and the renegotiation of contracts with IPPs are expected to further reduce costs. In the IMF 4 document na angasemuno, omuji to muse from 2023 increment in the quarterly utility tariffs it was going to go up in the sense say the reason why Tomlisha agreement is say ebetumi aboa ama sebio IPPs a Ghana di omoka no yetumi atua any contract bi a Ghana asensan a yentumi ntua ka no yebetumi nya sika bi di atua until they put this in agreement say na be ya omo IMF no omo ho nkyere omo. So they expected the Ghana government at the end of the day to make sure say every 3 months biano omo increase light bill, omo increase water bill. This is 2023. IMF any Ghana for buying a MPP buying EG2 muse every 3 months biano yento lighting. Now already point 7 now. This is what it says. I say beyond 2023, the program's baseline projections conservatively assumes that the sector shortfall will be gradually reduced to reach 1.7% of GDP in 2026. Say ye toto eye kaniemu every 3 months. The basically say by 2026 eye Ghana eka edie no ana eka ye de no eso beti till a percentage point of 1.7%, meaning say yakoso na say agreement a MPP sign ye no bosome miense bia ye to kaniem na ye to nsuo ma de ebe ye ne say ebeboa ema eka na ye de no ye ka eso ye no ye betumi enya sika ye betumi enya enough revenue to do what, to fight our debts. Na so ku anima o can be you see the IMF or staff urges the authorities to aim at a more rapid reduction in the sector shortfall under ESRP to create fiscal space for priority spending. This could be notably achieved through additional ad hoc tariff increases while protecting vulnerable households. Mami take it last part in Mountie. Or say, this could notably achieved through additional ad hoc tariff increases while protecting vulnerable households. Almost say, Ghana, a car a soye, say you bet me a consacano, na you bet me to your IMF, Bessia Yakwaje, na you bet me to your IPP, sa omoboyame and Kanye Jinaswa. I was said at the end of the day, no, Yan Kanyano, Bosumimi and Sebiano, agreement on many MPP coy and say, I was said Bosumimi and Sebiani, ya tokanim. And non kwane adia ebetumi abua Ghana ama yesika sam ejina ne naso by 2026 ending. Inti, when you read this document, I also what here say the agreement na MPP Ofori Atta Bawumia and IMF ko sign ye no, they put us in a corner in an agreement we will be increasing
Obusuafo nyankopon hwo bibia oguso hwedwumedi edo bibia ase ayesisi ano Kevintela kofa bai ena kofa babi am hwo bibia no hwedwumedi awudum pepe so hand dwumedi no be kwan se me famonsi e ma review so be like it share ma onyo no santo me nka bi subscribe to the channel no send e be ya POG Media the biggest platform ever trending news bi ya de bremo no ya je pene se ya de bremo na onsa enso etima ka de echo and the eba and it comes to politics me do bibia ase